All right, guys, what's going on? GoofyRhexxi here, and hope everybody is doing well. And wanted to make a video here and talk about T4's and ISO 8 for the Weapon X team. Obviously, of course, Omega Red was released last night here, and a lot of people got them. Congratulations to you. But wanted to kind of give my assessment here and my evaluation on T4's and ISO 8s, of course, which I think that there's a few different variations and options that you can use here for ISO 8s. I am like slowly building up this team right now, but through testing them on the test server here, kind of narrow down what ISOs I want, and I think what T4s are going to be the most impactful. You guys know me already. I typically tend to be a little bit on, I guess, the frugal side of T4s. I don't typically spend a lot of them. I really kind of go with what I feel like is absolutely necessary here. So I'm going to talk about the T4s that I am going to be putting into this team, and some of them I've already put into this team already. So let's start off with Sabertooth here. So I only think that the only T4s I would say that I would probably put into Sabertooth would most likely be either his special and his ultimate ability. I do not recommend his passive ability. There's literally absolutely zero use for T4s into Sabertooth's passive. I did this because I was using him on the Marauders team, and then that was impactful, right? So getting the assist was definitely impactful with Marauders, but of course he's not getting those assist chains here with the Weapon X team, so definitely not something that I would recommend here. With his ultimate ability though, the reason why I like this is because yeah, it's only 50% damage to the primary target, only 30% damage to the secondary targets, but you're getting this rebound chain to 5 to 6 targets here. And I like this because you're giving yourself a chance to hit more targets. He's gonna have an opportunity here to apply more of these bleeds, and because of the bleeds with Lady Deathstrike and her passive ability, whenever an enemy has bleeds, she's going to be lowering the resistance chance for that team, and I think that that's definitely impactful in my opinion. So I definitely would recommend this T4 just because of the additional characters that you're going to be hitting with this ultimate ability here, and you get this on turn 1 as well, so you have the impact there of being able to do this right out of the gate. I definitely would recommend this T4 on my man Sabertooth, Mr. Furry Jacket himself. Now with this special ability, I thought about this one here as well. I don't know if this is as impactful. I don't think you need this T4. I'm going to most likely do this T4 because I do have a 7 red star Sabertooth here. So I'm just going to do it just so I can have more damage. You don't necessarily need this one. Yes, it's additional 70% damage to the primary target, additional piercing damage as well, 40% chance to the secondary targets, additional 80% piercing to all targets if Omega Red is an ally. I don't think you need it. Like I said, I'm going to do it once I get this team up to like 80 and gear tier 14, which is probably going to be within the next like week or so. I am most likely going to throw that T4 on him, but literally that's just, I don't think you need it. It's nice to have. I'm doing it because I got a 7 red star Sabertooth. I don't think you need to do that at all. With the basic ability here, this additional 40% damage to the primary target, definitely not something that I would recommend throwing here on Sabertooth. Now let's go over to Omega Red, where the Omega Red, I've already equipped the T4s on him already. I think his passive are good. I think his ultimate is good. Special you can skip, and then the basic ability is good as well. But let's talk about it. So passive ability, I'm gonna swing over to MSF.gg because my head's gonna be blocking some of it, right? So let me swing over to MSF.gg and talk about it there. So let's pull up Omega Red here as soon as it pulls up, and then let's go over to the passive ability right here. So if you're looking at it on spawn, defense up for two turns. Okay, let's talk about what changes. If you decide to T4 this ability, what you're getting from this. So this goes from gaining 20% max health to now gaining 50% max health as well. What also wasn't there before is that on spawn, if this character has 3 or more Weapon X allies, then he will lower the enemy damage by 15%. That's a big deal, man. Going against heroes for hire, if people are going to be throwing Weapon X most likely on defense. Having this ability here to lower the damage of Infinity Watch, who some players might use to counter him. Trust me, I don't think that you want to use Infinity Watch to counter Weapon X. It's not going to go well, but I know that there are some players who will probably put them on defense. Being able to lower the damage and you going into attacking heroes for hire, lowering the enemy damage by 15%, I definitely think is impactful. He also as well does give this increased max health also to Weapon X allies too. I'm not seeing it here right now, but he does give us additional health to Weapon X allies as well. So therefore it's down here. My bad. So Weapon X allies also gain 50% max health. Before it was only 20% max health. So he's also doing that for Weapon X allies as well. So I definitely do think that the passive ability is definitely impactful and something that you're definitely going to want to put on him as well. I did also talk about his ultimate ability. So for his ultimate ability, you're getting an extra. So a few things actually change here. So before you were flipping 3 positive effects and negative effects on all the enemies, you're now going to be able to flip with the T4. You're going to be able to flip all positive effects to negative effects on all of the enemies. And then you're gaining the additional damage as well. So before you were getting 330% damage plus ability block, slow heal block, reducing the speed bar by 10%. When you T4 it, you're getting the additional 100% damage, the primary target, and then you're also getting 100% damage as well to the other enemies too. So definitely impactful T4. I definitely think it's worth it to put him into it. He's a legendary character. He's the legendary character for this team. The additional 100% damage, which he does do some pretty good, decent damage. And of course, the flipping all positive effects and negative effects, very big against Heroes for Hire, very good, big against Infinity Watch teams. A lot of teams that typically like to pull up those debuffs there. I definitely think it's an impactful T4 for that reason. Special ability, I'm going to recommend that you skip it. It is a low turn, it's a low cooldown, but also it's only an additional 50% damage. You go from 400% damage to 450. Not really good. I think a lot of players will probably T4 this just because it's the legendary character, and I get it. Like most legendary character T4s are typically good. Like most T4s on legendaries are usually good, but I don't really think that you need this one. I think this is definitely one of those that you can absolutely skip here. Basic ability though, we talked about that. Yes, absolutely. I do think that this is a good one. You're going from a 5% health steal to a 10% health steal. I think that becomes impactful enough for you to be able to make that change. Also, if you're going to throw a striker ISO on him as well, this is going to impact the assist and then also the counter as well, and then the bonus attack that you get from the striker comp, which is 251% damage. Now that went from 194% damage to now 251. You're getting additional piercing, and of course, yes, you're getting that additional 5% health steal as well. So T4s on Omega Red for me are going to be his passive ability, his ultimate, and then also his basic ability. All right, let's go down the line here. So Wolverine, I don't really think you need anyone on him. The only one I think I'm going to put on him is going to be a special ability, and we'll talk about that here. Now, passive ability, I think, is one that you could consider this depending on how your matchups are going, right? So if you're finding that in some of these matchups that Wolverine he's dying too fast, he's not staying alive long enough for him to be able to do his ultimate, which is kind of what you want because he has that really big ultimate burst damage there. So if you find that he's not staying alive long enough because maybe your red stars are like mine, like you only have 4 reds, but you should be able to survive it a little bit once you get him built up. If you're finding that, listen, man, homeboy is just not staying alive at all, then I would definitely recommend probably putting this T4 into him, because whenever he drops below 60%, then he gains defense up and 2 death proof, which will definitely help with his survivability. And of course, he gets a little heal plus 5% healing on his turn as well. So if you're finding that he's not staying alive, yeah, you can throw this T4 on him. I don't think you need it though. You can probably skip that one. Ultimate ability, yes, it is additional 90% piercing, and piercing damage does bypass armor, and that's good. That's a good efficient T4. However, I don't think you're going to need it. Honestly, you're kind of doing this towards the end of the matchup anyways to kind of finish off a character. You got to wait 3 turns before it becomes available. So I don't think that you need this additional 90% piercing. Usually the 710% piercing I found to be impactful enough. Yes, you can apply 2 bleeds, but the character is usually dead when you do this ability. So I really don't think that you need to worry about the bleeds there also. Now, special ability. Yes, I talked about this one. This is the opening move that you're going to use here with Wolverine. These chaining to 250% piercing. That if you T4, it goes up to 400% piercing. You're applying bleeds, you're rebound chaining. So I like the rebound chain to multiple characters. You're going from 3 to 4 to then rebound chain into 5 enemies. I don't think you have to do this one, but I think it's an impactful one where you'll be able to see some good return on it. So this is probably one I'm going to recommend as well. So special ability on Wolverine, you're applying 2 bleeds. Remember those bleeds, lower resistance. That's also impactful. He also gets 100% crit chance on each of the secondary targets too. So I do think that that also becomes impactful as well. So I definitely would recommend. I think the only T4, honestly, that I would do on him is most likely his special ability, basic ability, plus 10% piercing, apply 2 bleed. I think you're going to be fine, guys. I don't think you're going to need that C4 at all. All right, let's go down the line. Silver Samurai I think that there's a lot of, I think all the T4s on Silver Samurai are good. The question is going to be which ones should you do? And let's talk about that here. So passive ability, I think, is one that you're definitely going to want to consider on him. Remember, if this character has 4 or more Weapon X allies, reduce the assist chance of all enemies by 25%. And then in war, reduce the assist chance of all enemies by 100% instead. So I think that this is more impactful against teams that do a lot of assists. Infinity Watch, it might not be as impactful as you want it to be against Heroes for Hire because it's not going to stop Colleen Wing. Now, it will stop the Colleen Wing Misty Knight assists. Like that, it will stop for sure, right? Like it will stop that, but it won't stop the Colleen Wing bonus attack that she does whenever her Heroes for Hire allies takes a turn. She's gonna still attack the lowest health ally of your team anyway, so it's not gonna matter. But at least it will stop the Misty Knight Colleen Wing assist. I think this is gonna be more impactful against Infinity Watch in war. Like I said, Infinity Watch does not do well against this team in war, at least on the playtest server. Now, keep in mind the playtest server, all the characters are maxed out at 7 and 4, all T4s, right? So matchups are going to be different in real time that you're probably going to be facing. But so far, what I've seen is that Weapon X literally dismantles Infinity Watch. So it's not a very good fun matchup there. But yeah, this is a good one. It's not as impactful against Heroes for Hire. It will stop the Colleen Wing and Misty Knight assists. But it won't stop her bonus attack that she gets from her passive. Just keep that in mind. But I do think it's a good T4. His ultimate ability, I like as well. I can see some people skipping this one, but the reason why I like it here is, yeah, it's additional 40% piercing to the primary target, and then bonus attack, bonus attack the primary. This is what you get. You bonus attack the primary target for each charge up to a maximum of 5 bonus attacks. Before though, it's a maximum of 4 bonus attacks. So you have to make a decision as to whether or not you care that much about the additional 4 bonus attacks. Do keep in mind though that per charge, he gets an additional 40% piercing per charge, 40% piercing damage per charge. So getting the additional 40% piercing could actually be impactful for you. I don't know though. Like I could see a lot of players skipping this one. I could, like in fairness, I could see a lot of players skipping this one. I'm a little torn on this one. I might not do this initially out of the gate. I think it's a good one, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do this one right out of the gate, but it definitely can be impactful. It can probably actually be the reason why you delete a character on turn 1. So maybe I probably will consider this one as well. Now let's take a look at the special ability here. Love this one. I actually love this T4 because you're going from gaining 1 counter and 1 deflect to gaining 3 counters and 3 deflects, and then you're applying defense up to all Weapon X allies for 2 turns. The reason why I like it, you don't think it's probably that impactful, but the reason why I like it, if he's gaining taunt and he has the counters, each counter attack that he does, and if you have the skirmisher ice on him, each counter attack that he does, he is going to be applying. I'm skipping here. So yeah, each one that he does, he's going to be applying vulnerable. If you have skirmisher, that's the first thing, and then each time that he counters or assists, he's going to be applying bleeds, and he's going to be applying heal block. And remember, of course, bleeds lead to lower resistance because of Lady Deathstrike, and then heal block, you can't heal, you're behind. So therefore, I do like this one, having those 3 counters. So every time when a character attacks him with these counters up, he is going to be dishing out those vulnerables, dishing out the bleeds, and dishing out the heal block. So I actually do like this T4 because the impact is not, you might not initially look like damage impactful, but it is overall going to impact the damage output for your team and the effectiveness of your team by putting this T4 in them. So that's the reason why I do like it. Basic ability, I like the basic on him as well. It's when this character performs its attack, counter assist, they apply 2 bleed to the primary target, but I don't think you need it. I think the only T4s that you really need on Silver Samurai, I'm like tangenting, right? But the only T4 I think that you actually really need on him are probably going to be his passive and then his special. I think that you can make a case for the ultimate. I don't think you absolutely need the basic attack though at all. I think special, passive, and then ultimate is a direction I would go in. I would start off with the passive, go with the special, and then maybe consider doing the ultimate and then the basic. Those are my thoughts. Like I said, you guys may have different feels on it, but you guys kind of heard my thought process through it, right? So let me know what you guys thinking where that's concerned. And then last but certainly not least, I think Lady Deathstrike is probably the second most important character on this team. I just feel like what she does on this team is huge. I think it's large. She gives them additional crit damage. She's lowering resistance. She's able to apply buffs, defense down. I mean, I think what she does on this team, she's giving the team additional focus. So a lot of people are worried about focus on Lady Deathstrike, but focus with this team, but she's giving them additional 65% focus. I just think that I think that she does a lot of damage too as well. She's probably your second biggest damage dealer, or probably your biggest damage dealer on the team. Let me fact check myself on that one. Let's look at the stats table here. Yeah, it's Lady Deathstrike. Lady Deathstrike is the highest damage dealing character on the team, as you can see right here. She shows up as number 11. There's no other Weapon X character that's here, so there's a lot of things that I like about Lady Deathstrike that she does. So I think that she's definitely probably one of the second most important character on the team. But let's talk about her T4s, right? Passive ability, yeah, no questions, no ifs, no ands, or buts about it here, in my opinion. With the passive ability, you're doing this for one reason and one reason only. You're lowering the resistance by 50% for all enemies that have bleeds. This team is applying a lot of bleeds. Sabertooth, Wolverine, Omega Red, Silver Samurai, everybody on this team, Lady Deathstrike herself, everybody applies bleeds. So with those more bleeds, you're getting the lower resistance. Like I said, the reason why I like her, the 65% extra focus to herself and all Weapon X allies, giving them 100% resistance against bleed as well. It's a big deal. It's a really massively large big deal with this team here. Her ultimate ability is a skippable one. Yes, a rebound change to 4 adjacent targets instead of the 3 adjacent targets. Nah, you can pass. You can move on this one. Yes, she applies 2 bleeds to each target. Sure. Everybody else already applies bleeds. You don't need additional bleeds unless you're just trying to be greedy at this point. When it comes to your T4 investments, save them. I don't think you need that one at all. Special ability, I'm also going to go with a no on this one. It is a short cooldown. You're going to get the impact on this anyways. You're already getting the speed bar reduction by 20%. What you're getting from this is 40% piercing, and you're getting applied 2 bleeds to each target. I don't think that you need that at all. You're already getting so much out of it already without the T4. It's a low cooldown. I think you're fine here. I don't think you need to do this one at all. And then basic ability, I do actually think that this one's a good one. You're getting 40% additional piercing on all attacks. If the primary target has bleed, you're applying defense down. I definitely do like this one because, once again, you have a lot of those bleeds that are going to be going out. Of course, like I said, with those bleeds, you're lowering resistance. But now with Lady Deathstrike, you're also going to be able to apply defense down if they have bleed as well. So I do actually like this T4. So I would say for Lady Deathstrike, let's do a review on this, right? So going down the list, the Sabertooth, I think the only T4 that you need on Sabertooth here would be his ultimate ability because of the rebound chain. So I'm going to go with that one. You could make a case for the special ability. If you did these two, that would make sense. Special and ultimate. Omega Red, I've already put him in them already. Passive ability, ultimate, and then the basic ability here. Wolverine, I think I only like his special. His ultimate, I don't think you need. His basic, I don't think you need. And passive, I would say consider it. If your Wolverine is not surviving, then you can do it. So you could probably go passive and then go special here. But I think you only realistically need his special ability. Silver Samurai, I'm going to go with passive. I'm gonna go with special. His ultimate is good, but I don't know. I'm not convinced about it. Basic ability, good, but I'm not convinced about it as well. So I'm personally probably only gonna do the special and then do the passive ability here. Lady Deathstrike, like her passive, and I like her basic attack. I don't think you need either one of these two here. I think you're fine. Now, when it comes to ISOs, I'll talk about the ISOs on my team here. So a lot of players, I know a lot of people have talked about this already, about Skirmisher and worried about the team being able to land their buffs and all that. The matchups that I've done so far, that hasn't been a factor. Like the buffs, them being able to land buffs has not been a factor. They've been fine. The additional focus that you get from Lady Deathstrike is impactful enough. The load resistance that you get with Lady Deathstrike being there when they have the bleeds is impactful enough. I don't think that you need to worry about the Skirmisher ISO. I know someone put Skirmisher on Sabertooth and then Samurai and Lady Deathstrike. I don't think you need to do so. Now, I have Skirmisher on Lady Deathstrike right now because I am a little concerned about her focus, but let me explain the reason why I say that. Mine is only 3 reds. And when I get her up to 80 and 14, I'm not sure that she's gonna, once I get her to 4 reds, I think I'm gonna be okay. But having her at 3 reds right now is a little concerning. So I'm gonna leave her in the green right now until I can get that 4th red star on her. Once I get the 4th red star on her, I'm probably gonna move her over to a striker because I think that that's gonna be a little bit more impactful for her. Skirmisher on Silver Samurai, the counters, the assists. I think he's a great Skirmisher character. I think being able to land the vulnerables every time that he has a counter, he's gonna be landing a vulnerable. Right? I mean, the assist chance. You're gonna be able to get the triple tap with Omega Red and Lady Deathstrike. Dude, I just think that the Skirmisher is the best ISO on him. I like him being able to mark on the team. That's literally what I want Silver Samurai there for. So therefore, yeah, I think Skirmisher works great on him. Wolverine and Sabertooth, you can make a case for Wolverine being a striker because of his basic ability here. In war, he does gain speed up, and if he speeds up, then you can get to this ultimate ability quicker. So I do think that there is a value in putting striker on Wolverine. I just don't think that you have to do it. I think it's one that you ultimately can. You can leave radar on him. A reason why I like radar on him is because of the multi-target hits. He gains 100% crit chance here on each secondary target. Remember, if we T4 this, he's rebounding chaining to 5 enemies. So 100% crit chance. That's 100% chance to land a vulnerable on each one of those characters. I just find that this is an opening move. I find that to be more impactful having Raider on him. So I'm going to stick with Raider, man. That's just the best. I think Raider's good. You could go with Striker because of being able to get that speed up here on that basic ability, just so that you can get to that ultimate quicker. But ultimately for me, I just like Raider on him better. I think Raider's more impactful for me. Sabertooth, I had Skirmisher on him when he was only at 4 reds, but thank you to whoever gifted me the offer to get the 7 red star here on Sabertooth. That was a really lucky pull, by the way. That was amazing. But because he does have the 7 reds now, I just felt like I was going to be losing a lot of damage, man, with Sabertooth being there. He does a lot of piercing damage. He's applying bleeds. He's a rebound chance of 5 or 6 targets. He has a lot of multi-target hits. His special is a multi-target hit. His ultimate is a multi-target hit. His basic is a single target, but he has a lot of multi-target hits that he gets on turn 1 and then gets on turn 2. So I just feel like being able to have a higher chance, and he can crit. He has a decent. Omega Red can give him a higher crit chance if the enemy has immunity. So I just feel like with the 7 reds, Raider works better with all these multi-target abilities here. I think being able to land those vulnerables are going to be more impactful for characters like Lady Deathstrike, for characters like Omega Red to take advantage of, in my opinion. So therefore, I just like Raider ISO on Sabertooth. So Raider for me on Wolverine and Sabertooth. Omega Red, definitely a striker. Yeah, I mean, definitely a striker. The health steal, I think that's impactful. Prolonging negative effects. There's gonna be bleeds. There's gonna be slows. There's gonna be offense down. Having him prolonging those negative effects, I think is gonna be impactful as well. We talked about Silver Samurai and Lady Deathstrike. I actually like striker on her because of her basic as well. She does a lot of damage. It's nothing specifically that she does with her basic that is crazy stand out to me. Yes, she can apply defense down. an additional attack, bonus attack here, but she's already doing that with her basic already if you have a T4. It's just more about doing additional damage with Lady Deathstrike. There's even a world, I know it's crazy, right? There's even a world where Raider ISO actually could work on her as well, because she does have a few multi-target attacks. So I don't even think that that it would be completely far-fetched to throw a Raider ISO on her. I do think though she's a pretty damn good striker. She does a lot of freaking damage. I definitely think that you're probably going to want to go with striker on her. So for me, I would say my final ISO recommendations on Sabertooth would be on the team. Sabertooth Wolverine would be Raider, Omega Red as a striker, Silver Samurai as a skirmisher because of those assists, the counters, and then Lady Deathstrike. Right now I have her as a skirmisher because of the low red stars, but once I get her built up, once I get another red star on her, I'm probably going to be switching her over to a striker here. But I could also see where the impact could be, where you could actually get some pretty good stuff out of her as well, with having the Raider ISO. But I do think that you want to have some characters here take advantage of the vulnerables that are being placed on the team here. But listen, these are my recommendations here. Curious to hear what you guys are thinking. Hopefully this made sense to you. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Always want to hear from what you guys have to say here. But appreciate you guys watching so very much. Until next time, y'all be blessed and y'all be safe.